Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and I've got your Week 8 NFL running back edition start and sit video to help you guys out with those lineup questions. Of course, there are no teams on a bye this week, so that is great news, and hopefully this video helps you guys out with those running back start and sit questions. So let's jump right into this. So like I mentioned, it's week 8 of the NFL, and we also don't have any buys this week. So unless there is an injury, we've got a full slate of running backs that are able to help your team out, or possibly running backs you may want to sit. Now, this right now are your starting lineup as far as running backs. These are obvious guys. Like, these guys should be in your lineup no matter what the matchup is, whether they're getting plenty of touches or they do have a really good matchup and are going to thrive. I've got a lot longer list than I normally have, but I like these guys as your obvious starts. Now, the first running back I'm going to mention as a good start this week is going to be Javonte Williams versus the Panthers. Javonte is coming off his best game this season where he had 2 rushing touchdowns and had a season-high 88 rushing yards. Panthers are allowing 18 points per game to the running back one and allowed almost 2 touchdowns per game. Panthers are expecting to start Bryce Young after Andy Dalton was dealing with a car accident. Hopefully he's healthy and going to do well for the rest of the season with Bryce Young at quarterback and no Deontay Johnson and no Adam Thielen. There's a good chance the Broncos are going to be up, given opportunities, getting Javonte more touches, and I think he's going to have a really good week this week. Another running back I like this week as well, Kenneth Walker versus the Bills. You could almost put him as an obvious, and maybe I'm crazy for not putting him as an obvious, but the Bills have actually done a great job against the Titans this last week with Pollard only allowing 8 points. So I understand where maybe someone questions why Walker should be in there. But other than that, Walker is coming into week 8 as running back 8 for this season. And that was with missing time, where Charbonnet had obviously some opportunities. Bills have actually been allowing over 100 yards on the ground as well and allowing 19.7 points per game. So again, the opportunities are there. I think Kenneth Walker should thrive in this game. It's going to be a fun matchup between the Seahawks and the Bills. So I do like Walker as well. Another running back I think you should start, Jordan Madison for the 49ers. Jordan Madison will have a lot to carry on his shoulders coming into Sunday night game against the Dallas Cowboys. With the injuries at the wide receiver position, Mason will probably see way more touches and opportunities than he has before. The Cowboys are allowing 21.4 points per game and over 100 yards on the ground with an average of a touchdown per game as well to the running back position. Clearly, they're going to be missing some defensive players like Micah Parsons, who's not going to be playing. So that's going to obviously hurt Dallas. And again, because Mason is probably going to see plenty of opportunities, he should obviously see the red zone and the end zone in this one. I really like him. He's been averaging 14 points a game. He's at RB10 right now. I think he's been fantastic. Another running back I like this week is going to be Josh Jacobs for the Green Bay Packers going against the Jaguars. Jacobs is coming off a 20-point fantasy performance against a pretty tough Texans defense. Jacobs now faces a Jags defense who has not played well against running backs. They're allowing 14 points per game and could be more in this game based off of game script. Packers could be up big, allowing Jacobs to run the ball a lot more, given a lot more opportunities, seeing touches around 15 to 17 this week just because the matchup will put them in a good spot. Even though Jacobs has not been solid this week, he's been a great RB2. He's probably going to have some RB1 upside this week. Now going into the sit side, first running back I'm going to mention, Alexander Madison versus the Chiefs. As good as Madison has been the last couple weeks, this is not a week you're wanting to play him. Kansas City is the best against the run. The most yards allowed to a running back so far from Kansas City is 58 yards, and that was to Jordan Mason, who has been fantastic in that 49ers offense. Madison's biggest value has been in the receiving aspect, but the Chiefs are actually holding backs to only 3 receptions per game. And also, the last touchdown the Kansas City Chiefs have allowed was in week 3. So again, this is a really tough matchup. If you have to start Madison, I get it. But right now, Madison should be on your bench. He should not be starting against Kansas City. Another running back I don't love this week is going to be Tony Pollard for the Titans, going against the Detroit Lions this week. And there aren't many backs who have had success against the Detroit Lions on the ground. They have yet to allow 100 yards. They're only averaging 14 points per game to the running back. And because the powerful offense of the Lions, being able to score often, being able to score at will, the game script could easily take the rushing ability from Pollard. Now, Pollard obviously still is a great receiving back, but there's an opportunity that because, you lose a player like DeAndre Hopkins to Kansas City, Ridley has not played well. Realistically, the Detroit Lions, all they have to do is focus on Pollard and they'll have some success this week. So again, Tony Pollard, tough to start. Another running back I don't like is Chase Brown versus the Eagles. The Eagles actually struggled at the beginning of the season against the run, but since week 4, especially with the emergence of Nakobe Dean, they have actually been able to hold running backs to only 10 points per game. They've only allowed 1 rushing touchdown so far this season and only allowed 50 yards per game on the ground since week 3. Now, Brown still has to compete with Moss as well, which is going to obviously be an opportunity killer and a touch killer. Even though Chase Brown has been the one having a lot more success and a lot more touches on the ground, he is definitely their better receiving back. I still would kind of stay away from him. I think this is going to be a game where the receivers do well, Burrow may do well, but Chase Brown I don't trust. And another running back and last one is going to be Ramondre Stevenson versus the Jets. The last 2 weeks, the Jets have struggled against the run, but in most cases, the Jets have actually done a really good job keeping running backs under 80 yards on the ground, with the Jets likely being ahead of the Patriots this week, especially with a stifling defense against a rookie and Drake May, could definitely affect Ramondre Stevenson and really how he's going to perform this week. Now, he is questionable. We'll see if he actually ends up playing. I do think he does. But again, against a Jets defense that actually overall has played very, very well, I don't see the Jets losing this one. I think the Jets will get things together, even though Aaron Rodgers is dealing with a lot of injuries. I just think the game script is going to fall out of favor for Ramondre, and he ends up having a bad week. Now, as far as my sleepers this week, I've got both running backs from the Miami Dolphins and Arizona Cardinals game. I think James Conner is going to have some success. The Dolphins have not played well against running backs. And I think Devon Achane is going to have some success with the addition of having Tua back up in the lineup. Achane has been great when Tua has been there because obviously defenses don't have to focus on him because they still have to deal with Tua in this offense. So I think it's a big win for everybody. I like both of those guys at the sleeper. So those are my start sits and sleepers for week 8 of the NFL season for the running back edition. If you guys have questions, hit me up in the comments down below. And if you haven't already, check out my other start and sit videos as well on the channel to help you guys with your lineup. Make sure you guys pay attention, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and I'll check you guys out next time.